All right, we're live.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give it a second and get some people coming in. I should probably post that we're live. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
It might help.
Let the social media family know that we're out doing big things.
Do you see it live on oh, there it goes.
All right, we're live.
Just went live.
Good stuff.
Thumbnail.
You like the thumbnail? I had to include you somehow. I don't have a picture of all three of us together.
You should have just drawn like a stick figure over there on the right. And
yeah,
Matt.
that was too much work.
I'm gonna share out the links too.
Hey, we got some people coming in.
What's up, fellas?
Going.
Oh, gotta click that. There we go. We got people commenting, but I don't see them in the numbers here. We'll do this. Welcome to the live stream, people. Glad to have you here. We're going to kind of hang out here for a little while, chit-chat a little bit, and just talk a little duck hunting this evening. I know you guys enjoy that, so chime in the comment section, ask some questions, and we will probably get to answering them as soon as we can. So I'm on here with Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles and Matt from Prairie Sportsman.
Howdy.
And if you guys don't know, we are all part of the Flyways Collective, which is a group of YouTubers. So we got Jordan and Matt, and we've got Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting, Titus from Mid-Valley Mercenaries, and Thomas from Virginia Outdoors Unlimited. So we all get together every now and then and do some live streams, and we got a Facebook and an Instagram page now, so be sure to follow those. We've got a bunch of good stuff coming to those, so make sure you follow us both on Facebook and Instagram. And then we've also got a collaboration get-together. We did that back in November. If you guys haven't seen those videos, I want to encourage you guys to go check those out. They're pretty sweet. Got on a lot of good hunts, but unfortunately, my GoPro audio went to crap that whole weekend. I didn't realize I should have edited something, but I never had the chance to even look at some video I edited, and I would have noticed that and corrected it for future hunts. But
oh yeah,
it's the name of the game. So yeah, if you guys want to give Matt and Jordan a follow, that'd be appreciated by them. I should probably put that in the description. I didn't. I put the Flyways Collective YouTube channel in the description. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers on there, so then we can do live streams on there instead of on our separate channels. So if you got a chance, click the link in the description, head over there, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be doing kind of some side content out there as well.
Heck yeah. Sounds like a good way to start it. So
that was pretty good, if I say so myself.
Was that pre-written out?
That was not pre-written out. That was 100% just me trying to do something else at the same time and saying that too.
Oh yeah, that's
that never happened. I
I
can't do that.
It's like okay. It's like you've done 500 videos talking in front of a camera or something.
I've done I think I've done over 600 videos.
Jeez.
That's like when you look back at it, you're like, holy crap, I filmed that many videos.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay. So let's see what you guys are saying. I wanted to just kind of get on here, give you guys a heads up about the Flyways Collective too, and let you guys know about the YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. I'm going to be posting content on there that is not going to be on this channel, so be sure to head over there and subscribe to see that content. I don't know about you guys. Are you guys planning on posting on the channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what exactly we're going to post on there though.
Yeah, what kind of content you got planned? You got anything for sure you know you're going to do?
I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking I want to do some quick tip videos, because a lot of the videos I post on my channel, they're a little bit longer. I don't like to post 1 to 2 minute videos, but I think on there I could go ahead and do some quick tip videos. People can get the information that they want and then move on to the next video. Make it really quick and snappy kind of content. But what would you guys post on that channel? What do you guys think?
I don't know. And we've actually talked about this a little bit too, but there's definitely some ideas. Like something that might be cool is to have, especially like during season, among the Flyways Collective guys, to have like like a top 5 of the week. You could do like kill shots top 5 of the week or something kind of cool like that, where you just take little snippets from everybody's video, some cool shots. I don't know, just off the top of my head, kind of little collaborative, combine everybody's videos into like one update. Or another idea for during season might be something like kind of like how I did something similar in the past, the migration report, but just maybe like an update from everybody that would come out on the channel. Just a central location to kind of post little things like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What do you guys think in the comments about that? Just kind of doing little quick snippets, top 5 kill shots of the week, or top 5 decoys of the week, where like you get some good like decoying birds, not like actual like reviewing a decoy, but like birds coming into the decoys kind of deal. Because that's one of my favorite parts of hunting. I don't know about you guys, just watching the birds commit all the way in, right into your lap.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do a top 5 fails too, or anything like that.
Funny moments of the week.
Yep.
Struggles of the week.
Oh yeah. What about you, Matt? Let's hear what you got.
Well, I was gonna say the migration report thing would be pretty sweet to do, and I don't know. I think maybe I don't know how we exactly do it, but maybe like a cook-off thing, or like we do a recipe side by side or something, or. But when over the computer, I don't know how that exactly would work.
Yeah.
But when we're on our collabs, we could do that'd be like some good side content. I think each whip up a quick recipe or something.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some quick recipes would be another one too, with your like 2-minute tips videos, like some 2-minute recipe videos. Just some of the real quick ones, not the in-depth ones.
Yeah, I totally feel on that, because there's a lot of times it's like, well, you marinate the duck breast and you throw it on the grill, and you can't really make like a 10-minute video out of that and post it on your main channel. So I think that'd be a really good place to put that kind of thing. But I think it'd be really cool to be able to get that channel to where we can do live streams on there with everybody together and do that kind of collaborative live stream, kind of like what we're doing tonight with you two. So that would be a really cool thing, but we do need to hit that subscriber mark on that channel to be able to do those live streams. Correct?
Yep. Go over there and give it a follow or so.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, because we were looking at it the other day, and I know at one point there was an 1,000 subscriber limit, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't know.
Yeah, we might have to look into that. I didn't look at it. I just kind of took somebody's word for it when somebody said it in the call.
Yeah, no, I said it in the call. I know it used to be that way, but we were actually looking at it the other day, and I don't know for sure. So,
oh, somebody says challenge videos this year, or I'm unsubscribing. Isn't hunting a big enough challenge as is? You don't need to go. Your goal is to get out there and shoot ducks. Why make it more challenging? Like, I'd rather go out, have a good hunt, and get back home than to be like, oh, I'm gonna go set out with 4 decoys and see if I can make this happen on a lake. Like, I want to get out and shoot ducks. I don't want to not shoot ducks.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know about you guys, but I want to shoot ducks. I don't want to make it to where I'm gonna do some video that I hope goes viral, so then I get more views, but not shoot a lot of ducks. I want to kill greenheads.
Yeah, ultimately, the ultimate goal of hunting is to be successful. Bag some ducks. So if any challenge is going to be detrimental to that, I'm not going to even mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jordan?
And I would say that the silliest challenge is probably the 1 decoy challenge. I don't know if any of us have ever done.
I was the first one to do the 1 decoy challenge, and let me tell you, that came up from a long night of no shooting ducks the day before and drinking a lot of beer in the afternoon, and we're like, tomorrow we really don't have any options, so we'll do the 1 decoy challenge tomorrow. It just kind of came up after a few beers,
Yeah,
at duck camp with the boys. If you know what I'm saying.
Hey, I like this challenge. Who can grow the longest? He said burf, but I think he means beard of the season.
I can't do that, but I'm actually growing a mustache right now. seeing how long that'll fly.
What do you mean you can't grow a long beard?
I can't stand it. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
I did it once. It gets annoying.
We could do who can grow the longest mullet.
Done that.
Yeah.
I've got a head start on that. Quarantine's got me not being able to get a haircut.
I'm in the same boat, but yeah, I think yours is a little bit more shaggy than mine.
No waders challenge. I actually did that a few times. You just have other buddies with waders.
Yeah. Oh, that's annoying.
Or
when you go to a farm pond and you're like the only one with waders, you're slugging through the mud and getting the decoys and all that. I'm like, okay.
See, I've done that a lot of times, but that's because I'm hunting with guys that, they either don't have waders or it's kind of a mutual, like, I'll do this if you do that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, yeah. Teal tips. Aim far enough ahead.
Yeah. Teal tips. Spinners. As many as you got.
Spinner only
if
challenge.
If you watch my teal hunting videos from Nebraska, we had like 8 spinners in the spread.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
When we did our teal hunting in Kansas, Elliot's like not big on like a lot of spinners, and I knew that, and so and he also we had this little thing where he talked about how he hates like dove mojos, and so I don't know. Oh, he has a story about a hawk. You have to ask him about it because there's like a hawk that swooped down at like I can't remember how it goes, like an actual mojo, but he said, I'm butchering the story, but it's something like he said it wouldn't hit a dove mojo the same or something. So I don't know what it is, but anyway, so I brought 2 with me as a joke. You haven't seen him that annoyed ever, I don't think.
Oh, I'll put a dove mojo in my spread. I don't care. All they see is the flipping wings. If they can tell it's a dove and not a duck, those birds are dead.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm shooting at them.
Yeah.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going to bring those with you to the collective hunt, Jordan?
The dove mojos? I think we should all slip one into all of us have a dove mojo. Just any hunt we go on with Elliot, we just bring it and set it like right next to him in the ground. It's like
that'd be pretty funny.
The running joke of the week.
Yeah. Let's see what the comment section's saying. Feel free to ask questions if you guys are live on this. And
Vanessa said freelance sucks. He does not. That's a lie. He's one of my good buddies. Okay. I might talk crap about him all the time, but
he's had kind of a lot of unique situations.
Yeah.
You talk to a lot of guys who go out and duck hunt and they do their thing, but I think Elliot's one guy that I know that has had the most unique experiences when he's hunting, and he gets them all on camera, and he's just like, yep, this happened.
Yeah.
Like the time he sunk his boat.
Yeah, flipped his boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a sucky situation.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this was on video, but him paddling across the lake after his boat motor died.
Yeah.
Like, I know that lake, and that would have been a freaking bad time paddling that boat across that lake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but honestly, you think about him, like how many people who have hunted for like 25 plus years every single weekend of waterfowl season for that many years. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah, not very many people can say that. And he hunts a lot of public too, like mainly public.
Yeah.
So hats off to him.
That's awesome. I keep seeing the same comment in here by Owen. 20 gauge challenge. I'm telling you right now, I've hunted more with a 20 gauge probably than a 12 gauge. It's really not a challenge. Honestly, a 20 gauge is like almost the same as hunting with a 12 gauge. It's not that different. Not at all.
I've heard that 20 gauges pattern tighter than 12 gauges. Is that true?
I guess I would say that I would know that to be true.
A 20 gauge is all I use during teal season. So
yeah.
Have you guys patterned your 20s?
I've patterned all my guns.
It's been a while.
The one thing I'll say about a 20 gauge versus 12 gauge is there's a lot less kick. It's like if you go from like 3.5 inch shells to like 2 3/4 on a 12 gauge, it's such a huge difference. Now just go, it's a little bit less when you go to a 20 gauge. And so it's like, there's no kick. I mean, you can get your 3 shots off aimed on the bird way quicker than a 3.5 inch shell. Honestly, I'll never shoot a 3.5 inch shell again. It feels like a waste to me. As far as like, you don't need that, to kill a bird, and then you kind of lose it, as far as like how fast you can get your shots off. And it just seems a little less effective to me.
Yeah. Well, with the 3.5 inch shell deal, I've shot a lot of 3.5s. I mainly shoot geese with them because I'm under the impression, like, for one, most 3.5 inch shells fly faster than 3-inch shells. And with steel pellets, you need that speed so then you can punch them harder because steel is less dense than other metals. So you're basically like comparing it to lead. Your slower lead shot is going to hit the same as your faster steel shot. So the faster you can get your steel going, the harder punch it's going to have. So like I think Elliot said this in like the podcast we were on or something. I was watching something, but he was talking about how like getting hit with a wiffle ball bat and an aluminum baseball bat, comparing steel and lead shot. You know, you can swing that wiffle ball bat faster and it's going to hurt, or the aluminum bat slower and it's going to hurt. So it's a density thing. And so once those 3.5 inch shells get that speed up, you're able to punch those birds harder. And especially late season geese, they have so many down feathers. It takes a lot to really kind of knock them down and not have to chase cripples around.
Yeah. That's one thing I tried. Smaller shot size on geese. It's just, I feel like, somewhat going to a little bit bigger size is helpful too, on that. Yeah.
So I shoot double B's at geese and 2-shot at most ducks during big duck season. And then teal season, I'll shoot 6s. What do you guys shoot?
I go 4s across the board for ducks, and then late season when we have greenheads and geese, I'll run like a 2 and then 2 BBs behind it.
I shot 2 3/4 inch 5s from Boss last year on ducks, and that was killer. I've never shot number 5s at ducks before, but I don't remember. I mean, really having cripples at all with the 5s. I did shoot 4s at geese with Boss, and I'm definitely gonna go a little bit smaller for next year, like 3s or 2s on geese. Like you said, late season, it just seems like I'd have some better results going a little bit smaller. And go ahead.
It's hard to get those real hard punch kind of shots with those lighter loads, because they've got those big, thick down feathers and, goose breasts. If you look at the goose breasts, I mean, they're thick. You got to make it through a lot to hit something vital.
Yeah. And I'll say with the number 4s, like I knocked a lot of birds down, but it didn't finish them as well as I think a smaller size, as far as like a 3, which would be a bigger size pellet. But yeah, so that's kind of where I stand on that. I think I'm definitely gonna go to 3s or 2s on that.
Okay, here's a question. Best shot. Who's the best shot in the Flyways?
We got this question when we did our live stream last week.
We did.
And
that's hard to say. We all have good days and bad days.
I'm going to say, if I had to guess, it's probably Titus. Because he probably has more passing shots than anybody else, just because the area he hunts. And I think passing shots are harder than finishing shots in the decoys.
I agree. I'd say Titus from that aspect. I never thought about that until now. I'd say Titus probably has the best shot out of everybody. I mean, he's he's made some amazing shots. Shots that I wouldn't think about taking. He just pulls up and smokes a duck. And if you look at his videos and his shot cam footage, you're like, dude, you're leading that duck by a mile, and then you fold that thing and it drops deader than a doornail.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when we did the collab on our day that we hunted today, that together, that was the Saturday, and like I don't even know if I saw him pull the trigger, so I didn't get to see any of that that shooting in person, but you know, from the YouTube videos, which I mean, we can all hide all our misses and make them look good, and I'm not accusing him of that. I'm just saying from his YouTube videos, it looks like he has a really good shot.
See, he came out here to teal hunt with me last year, and the first 2 days it like took him a little while because we had the teal in so tight. I mean, we were shooting birds at 5 to 10, 15 yards. He's like, they're too close, I can't hit them. So he would, I mean, and then he'd pull up on one at 30, 35 yards and just drop it stone dead. And then once, you know, it took him a little while to adjust to that, but yeah, he's definitely I would say he's definitely the best shot.
What choke tubes do you guys use?
Man, we actually talked about this a lot over the last year, me and Elliot, and because he shoots only modified, and so I kind of.
You're not gonna make a joke here, Jordan?
You're right. I'm missing a golden opportunity. Full choke outdoors, but yeah. So, but he's kind of talked me into that as well, going to just the modified, and that's primarily what I've shot. But you know, I've ventured out, especially on geese, when I was having a little bit of the issue with, I'd say like knocking birds down, but I want them to be dead, you know. And so I thought maybe with a full choke in late goose season, I might have a little bit better success. And the birds that I did hit with a full choke, it was obviously you're hitting them with more pellets, so it's more deadly. But it's a lot harder to hit them with a full choke.
Matt, what do you shoot? What's your choke?
So 20 gauge, I run an improved cylinder for teal, and if I think it's going to be really good, I have my 20 gauge. My 12 gauge, I run just a modified, you know, that 25 to 40 yard range is usually where I'm shooting ducks and geese with my 12 gauge.
Yeah, I shoot a modified all season long. That's a modified choke never leaves my gun during duck season. So I shot the Black Cloud Carlson's modified this past season because I was shooting a lot of Black Cloud loads, and I tried that out and I loved that choke. Like I've shot a lot of ducks and geese with that choke. Now I haven't patterned it. I don't know how it looks, so beats me. But I thought it worked really well. When I patterned my kicks modified, those Federal Blue Box 2s, I had like 140 pellets on target at 40 yards. It was ridiculous.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys have anything against full chokes, or is it just kind of like your best success has been with modified?
For me, usually most of my birds are a lot closer, so either I would just completely miss. I just like the bigger pattern that a modified or improved gives. And talking with Devin on some hunts, he said that I might benefit from using an improved in my 12 gauge just for how close I like to work my birds.
Mm-hmm.
But I just stick with the modified just in case they don't want to quite commit that day.
Yeah. I have that same philosophy because I tend to like to work my birds in as close as I possibly can, and especially on like private farm ponds and stuff, we're able to get those birds pretty much feet down in the decoys. And I think the modified choke gives me enough of a spread, because the point of your shotgun, believe it or not, is to have the pellets spread to then have a better chance of hitting what you're aiming at. So you don't want a baseball size pattern, believe it or not. You want your pattern to spread, so then you have a higher likelihood of hitting that bird. Now, you do want a good pattern density at 40 yards, but you also don't want to be blowing a hole through your bird that you're aiming at that's committed to the decoys. So I think the modified choke gives you that good kind of area that you're trying to aim for between, 15 and 40 yards to where you're able to effectively and efficiently and ethically kill birds between those ranges.
Yeah, I definitely think it's crazy because it's such a hot button topic, with the chokes, and it's almost like we've got like battle lines drawn, and there's the full choke guys and the modified guys, and we almost ask everybody we have on the podcast, like, hey, what do you shoot? And I mean, we get notable guys saying full choke and notable guys saying, skeet choke, and they're going all the way down to they just unscrew it and they just got the just the barrel. So it's like it's crazy the differences, and that's kind of why I've did a little bit of experimenting last year, and there's some points where I'm like, man, that was awesome, full choke, and then there's times where I'm like, man, if I didn't have a full choke in, like you said, it's just in your, I guess, your sweet spot for the modified, the 25 to 35 yards or whatever it is, that's supposed to be what it's for. So I don't know. It's just, it seems like it should be more of a white and black kind of issue, but you get people who are real avid one way or the other.
Yeah, I agree. And I've hunted with guys that, we get the ducks finishing in really close and they'll grab their bag and switch out chokes.
Mm-hmm.
So some guys, they kind of like to switch it out depending on the situation as well. We had a question come in asking about how much extra range a 3.5-inch shell gives you as compared to a 3-inch shell. I'm a believer that it doesn't give you any extra range. It just gives you more pellets going down range, and the 3.5-inch shells do fly faster for the most part. What do you guys think?
I'd agree.
I mean, it's interesting though, because you'd say like if you had a 3-inch shell and 1,500 feet per second, and it's going to slow down at a certain rate, and if it hits the bird at like 35 yards, it's going to be slower. So it's like ethically, I mean, I wouldn't advise anybody to shoot over 40 yards for the most part. But it's like if you have, a 3.5-inch shell that's shooting them at like 1,700 feet per second, like by the science, wouldn't it be hitting the birds with the same amount of velocity at a further yardage than one that's shot at 1,500 feet that's a 3-inch shell?
Hey, real quick, we got a guest wanting to come on here, and it's Thomas. Let's get Thomas added on here from Virginia Outdoors Unlimited.
Man.
All right.
Ooh, Chuck says cost per shell is a deciding factor. That is totally true, and it makes sense for a lot of people. But some people are diehard about, this shell pattern's the best in my gun, and that is the only shell that, hold on. And that is the only shell that I'm going to shoot. So, cost is a deciding factor. I've killed a lot of ducks with the cheapest shells that you could find. I've killed ducks with some of the most expensive shells on the market. So
you guys I want to hear feedback on what I was saying about 3.5 versus 3-inch.
What's up, guys?
Come on, Matt.
Welcome, Thomas.
It's your question.
No, I was asking you guys what your thoughts were on it by the science.
What's the science?
Yeah.
What did you say? I
Okay.
missed it.
All right. So I'm going to say it again because I want to know the answer. All right. So the question was, do 3.5-inch shells have a further lethal range than 3-inch shells? And so by the science of, if you have a 3-inch shell that shoots 1,500 feet per second, it slows down and its lethal range, whatever it is, if it slows down to a certain point, let's say 35 yards, it's going at 1,000 feet per second, and it hits that bird and it's dead. Well, now you shoot a 3.5-inch shell that it's leaving your barrel at a velocity of 1,700 feet per second. So it's going to have that, whatever that deadly speed is, it's going to be further out than the 3-inch shell.
I think you'd run into the issue that steel slows down super quickly. Because I remember the guys from Boss said that, like how the Boss retains energy a lot better. So past 40 yards, steel really starts to drop off in speed to the point where I think that 200 FPS difference isn't going to matter out the barrel.
So you're going to say it's going to be like something like 2 or 3 yards difference.
Yeah, I think it would be negligible. I think where you would find the difference to be would be that if you have more pellets going down range, even at 50 yards, if you have more pellets, there's a greater chance one of those pellets hits the brain, which really past 45, 50 yards, you're shooting on a prayer. So you're hoping for a brain or a spine shot or a heart shot. So more pellets is going to mean more of a chance, but also how many of those birds are taking 3 or 4 pellets and going, further down the flyway.
Yep. We lost Josh's camera feed.
Oh, my camera died. Hold on. Forgot about that.
This is small things.
Still figuring it out. I'll say y'all had really good quality from the consumer or from the other end of YouTube.
Well, thank you. So
All right, Mr.
Josh is
Thomas,
gone.
podcast host.
Josh is gone. Did he introduce Thomas? Thomas from Virginia Outdoors Unlimited.
The worst shot in the Flyways Collective.
Is that what they said? Is that consensus?
I don't know.
Well, the thing is, people in Virginia can't own guns, so it's like, how do they even practice being a good shot?
Exactly.
Well, that and they can only shoot 2 mallards a day.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Less opportunity. I heard next year I might have to shoot them with bean bags out here.
Out of like a potato gun or something?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get
potato
a
launcher
really tight then. No more pass shooting for me.
Oh, man.
Oh.
All right, fellas, let's get some more questions dropping in the chat.
Yeah, let's get some more questions.
I just want to clarify with the 3.5-inch shell. We're talking about, I'm just theorizing. I don't shoot 3.5-inch shells. I shoot 2 3/4. So I just like to talk about things. Not saying that I would shoot a 3.5-inch shell because I don't. I've been down that road. I don't like to shoot 3.5 anymore. I never shoot over 3 at anything. And
what I've also found with 3.5 is that your recoil at that point is very much inhibiting. Unless you have a very heavy gun or gun with a really, really good recoil system, most modern semi-automatics have a lot of trouble cycling a 3.5 inch to the point where it's not going to pull you off your target.
Yeah.
What should I? Here's a question for you, Jordan. What should I use for my 28 gauge then? What shell would you recommend?
What shell? Well, no, you would definitely shoot a 3.5-inch shell. I'm sorry, we're talking about 12 gauge here. When you go down gauges to like a 20 gauge, it's like not 3.5, sorry, 3-inch shell. So it's like you want to shoot the longer or the bigger shell that you can shoot.
I lost my charger for my camera.
You mean like an actual plug?
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
We've got a lot of stuff moved around because of all the renovations around the household.
Yeah. There we go.
That thing went. Where did that sucker go? I'm gonna keep looking. You guys host the stream for a minute.
All right, we got this. So back to the 3.5-inch shell. Sorry, I was reading a comment over there. One of my buddies, when he just started hunting, I actually I had Kent Fast Stills number 2s and 3.5-inch, and he had just bought an 870 pump and 12 gauge, and so like they didn't pattern great out of my gun, and I remember I sold them to him. It's Taylor, in case he's listening. I'm talking about you. But I just remember after I sold him to him, we went to pattern his gun, and it kicked so hard I almost felt bad. Like, and I just figured like eventually he'd kind of get the hang of it, but like he never really with that gun. You know, an 870 is really not gonna have a really good recoil system. And at the time, I really didn't know that either. But I mean, it was just amazing to see the kick. Like it was like. You know, he's not going to be able to get very many shots off at a flock at that kind of kick. So 100%, you know, at the time, you know, I was kind of, you know, you always have buddies who tell you what they think and all that. And I had a buddy that said 3.5-inch shells or bust pretty much. And so that's what I'd started off with.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of young waterfowlers fall for that trap. I mean, at the end of the day, too, it's more money. That's another thing I feel like a lot of people don't talk about with 3.5 inch. Like, I don't want to pay another extra however much per box. It's typically like $3-4 a box.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
what you said, like I don't think I've ever seen, except for maybe super late season geese with like a BB. I don't think I've ever seen on ducks a hunt where I would say 3.5 inch gave anybody an advantage over a 3 inch.
No. And I'd almost say the same about 12 gauge versus 20. I don't really think it's that big of a difference. Like if your shot is on and the birds are at an ethical range, you know, I mean, 2.5 inch shells are fine. A 20 gauge is fine. You know, it's just all about being on target and having those birds close.
We got some questions in. Somebody said, do you like to hunt out of pits or blinds more? Oh, Josh is back.
Do you like what? I found my charger, by the way. It was under the desk. It was under the desk I was using when I was in the basement.
Someone asked, do you like to hunt pits or blinds more? And to my knowledge, I think Josh and Matt are the only two that have hunted pits before. I don't think me and Jordan have. I know I haven't.
I haven't either.
I've hunted a pit blind twice. It was awesome.
That is my opinion on them too. I mean, especially the tricked out ones with like the propane stove and they make you breakfast in them and you're warm, you're concealed. All you do is slide down a lid or pop up and you shoot them. I mean, it's a completely different way of hunting and it's a little easier, honestly. Whereas, if you're making your own blind or whatever, you're exposed to the elements more than likely, and your hide might not be the best. I mean, there's a lot of different variables that go into it, but in my experience, pit blind hunting it's one of the most comfortable ways to hunt.
I think that any sort of blind where you lower your, I don't know what it's called, but basically like your vertical
profile
height of the blind, vertical profile. Like the same thing with like sink boxes or layout blinds in open water. Like if you can get flat, for waterfowl just tend to not even notice you.
Mm-hmm. If you're able to get close to the ground, like to the flat level of ground, yeah, I agree.
But what about A-frames, Josh?
I would hunt out of an A-frame more than I would hunt out of a layout blind. They're way better. They're way more comfortable. You don't have as many blinds because you're able to fit 3 people in one A-frame. So you only have to worry about one blind getting set up and being brushed in and looking good. Plus, in my experience, I found that it's easier to stand up and shoot from an A-frame than it is to be in a layout blind, especially if you're hunting with some older guys or even kids for that matter. Some of those blinds, they've got some flip down doors in the front that are really convenient for kids. They're able to stand up in the blind, be ready to shoot. You flip it down, and there they go. Yeah. So I think A-frames, they're amazing.
I think they're better than layouts.
I think so too, and I think that the birds don't notice them as much, and you don't have to deal with as many peekers. And if you really think about it, like an A-frame, it's got a upright profile, not a flat profile. So instead of having 3 layout blinds next to each other, hump, 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 you just have one A-frame that's been grassed up real good, and grass is coming over, covering the gap. It just looks like a grass strip to the birds. Mm-hmm. And birds don't have the same kind of depth perception that we do, because if you think about it, have you ever seen those ginormous goose decoys that people used to hide under, the shells?
Yep.
What makes that seem realistic to a goose? The way it looks.
Apparently, they have really bad depth perception.
So, they do. And that's why the A-frames work so well, is because the birds, they don't have that kind of depth perception to be able to tell, oh, that's not just a 1 foot wide piece of grass. It's a big one. So it's the depth perception of the birds. And I think shadows from layout blinds, sometimes they cast shadows in between them, and that's what gives it away. But as long as you brush in good, no matter how you hide, it's going to work really well.
Yeah.
I personally prefer hunting out of A-frames because you're out of the elements. It kind of gives you a nice wind break. You don't have that wind coming down your neck, laying in a layout. It's more comfortable. You're able to sit in a chair, socialize, have everything in front of you where you can reach it and get to it.
From a question from I very rarely use A-frames. When have you ever felt like on a hunt before, like the same way? Have you felt like you were in an A-frame and you said, if I was in a layout, birds would be finishing? Have you ever felt like that on a hunt where you were in an A-frame before?
I would say no.
I felt like that when I was first introduced to A-frames because it was a scary thing for me to comprehend. And I couldn't wrap my mind around how that blind worked. But after I got it under my belt and had a couple of hunts in them, it finally made sense to me that it works. Like, think about it. If you go on public land, how many of you guys have built a blind on public land out of sticks and stuff to hide yourself? There's nothing different about that than an A-frame in my personal experience from what I've done.
Except for it's like worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had one situation last year, and some of the guys I hunt with too, same way, maybe aren't as confident as I am with hunting out of an A-frame, and I really haven't had yet, cross my fingers, like a bad experience hunting out of an A-frame. And so they were worried about with the snow-covered field that an A-frame might stick out worse than otherwise. So we actually went out the night before. We dug our layouts into the mud, like a foot, and like did all this extra work. And I mean, it sucked, but I mean, we shot our limit that way. I don't think they finished any closer than like you would with an A-frame. We hunted up the same field later on out of A-frames, and same thing, we definitely finished them closer. And then, the last hunt of the season, I had a goose hunt in a completely snow-covered field. And again, everything was completely brushed in, and that's the cardinal sin of A-frame hunting. If you don't have it brushed in, especially that brush coming weeping over the top of it, then you're going to be in trouble. And so we double wide A-frames in the middle of a snow-covered field, and all it was just natural vegetation. And these suckers were brushed up all the way, but too wide, and we shot a 4-man limit. And the birds were finishing close. So, I mean, there's no better proof than going out there and proving it for yourself and building up your confidence with it.
Yeah, I'd say that's true.
Even the A-frame that... Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay.
You're my guest.
Well, I was going to say, when you and Jordan and I went out on that last collab hunt, we just had an A-frame, and it wasn't brushed in the best, and we still shot a 4-man limit of teal and shoveler, which, granted, but, that's a 4-man limit of ducks. So, I'm full board on the A-frame train as well.
Yeah. I will say that would have been better, in my opinion, to have that thing brushed in, but I mean, we made it work.
Yeah,
for sure. And with the snow-covered field thing, like you see that some A-frames come with snow covers, and I'm sure that helps in some situations. But I've hunted A-frames in the middle of a winter wheat field that was snow-covered. We just smacked those things in the middle of the field, and we shot birds.
Did you brush it in? Or?
Oh, yeah, they're always brushed in.
Okay.
But we set up on a tree row to start the hunt. The wind wasn't right, so we didn't get any birds to really work in. And we had birds flying by, checking things out, and they never really gave us a good look. Well, we made the executive decision to just move the blinds in the field, adjust the decoys for the wind. Boom. We were shooting birds, and I think we ended the day with like 20-something birds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jace asked, are you saying you use an A-frame in the middle of a field? And yeah, 100%. I think Josh and me are both saying we got experience setting them out there in the middle. And honestly, I have no problem with that at all. I mean, I think if you have a fence row or something you can put it against, like maybe that's better. But if you don't, I would take an A-frame in the middle of a field, even a snow-covered field with no other, completely flat. So there's nothing else around it that's going to hide it except for your brush job. I would take that over layouts.
Yeah, and that comes down to the depth perception thing that we talked about earlier, because the birds don't have the same kind of depth perception that we do. And maybe that comes from them being up in the air and not having a ground view of it, or just the way that their eyes are set on their head or the way their brain works. I'm not entirely sure, but I firmly believe that they don't have the same kind of depth perception that humans do.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes towards my decisions on decoys that I hunt over. Like, I've hunted over the cheapest decoys on the market and killed a lot of birds, because the way I like to say it is, if they can tell the difference between my decoy and the most expensive decoy in the market, those are dead birds.
Yep. Yeah.
Agreed.
And
Don't get wrapped up in the marketing of it necessarily, because I've hunted over Dakotas. I have Dakotas. I love my Dakotas. They're great decoys. I like looking at them, but a duck isn't going to care. Your goal out there is to go shoot ducks. Use what decoys you want. Don't buy the expensive ones just because they're expensive and they look nice to you. The birds aren't going to know the difference.
Okay.
Some of us buy our decoys because they look nice to us.
I have. I've done it. I
Yeah.
said, I wanted these decoys. These look cool.
Yeah. Well, there's a saying in fishing. There's fish that catch lures, and there's fish. Wow. There's lures that catch fish, and there's lures that catch fishermen. It's just like the same with anything else. There's stuff that the people produce because it's going to get hunters to buy it, and there's stuff that's produced that's going to get birds to finish. And, a lot of it's, both, obviously, or else you're not going to sell anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And think about it. Like, they're looking for, like with geese, cheek patches and butts. The white patch and the white tail, that's what they're looking for. Everything else is just color contrast.
Okay, we've got someone wants to ask a quick question, or talk turkey real quick. Show of hands, who has a beard this spring?
Grab mine.
Oh, wow. That's a big one.
Dang, nice.
What's it measure
Yeah.
out to?
I think 9 5/8.
Mine's bigger.
I get that.
Mine
one a
was
lot.
10 on the dot. Just
Yeah,
one
no,
really
it's
long
pretty
string.
Yeah, I was down for the count for every day except for the opener of turkey season, so I didn't get to go out much. That's my excuse.
Yeah, I like turkey hunting. It's really growing on me. That's one thing I really don't have a whole lot of experience with. And I think I've learned a lot this season, and I've got the turkey fever.
If you could just talk in with your hunting buddies, like the way you can with waterfowling while turkey hunting, then I think it might be nearly my favorite style of hunting. I just don't like that you gotta stay quiet the whole time.
Yeah, so over there in Virginia, you guys probably hunt them a little different than you do over here, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not sure if it's too different, but I think we have probably a little bit more pressure from, and we shoot a lot of birds in field or in the woods versus a lot of birds I see coming out of the Midwest are a lot of times in fields, and a lot of birds we shoot just stay in the woods. Because by the time it's our turkey season, a lot of times it's so warm outside that unless you have a rainy or a real cold, cloudy day, they just don't really want to go out to the fields.
Yeah, it seems like around here, probably this time of year, you might not see them out in the fields as much unless it's like right when they come off the roost. But here, there's a lot more ag fields here, most likely as well. And so those birds roost up and then they fly down into an ag field. They strut around for a while and then they might dip back into the trees. And I think that's why you see a lot of more turkeys getting killed in open spaces out here than you do back east.
Yeah. It's been really, I've seen so many news stories this spring about people getting shot while turkey hunting. I don't think I've ever seen so many news stories, especially coming out of the eastern side of the country. There was a lot of people shot in West Virginia particularly. I saw quite a few turkey hunters shot in West Virginia. Which isn't funny, but I don't know. Maybe it's just social media, just showing us more. But I saw just so many stories about people getting shot.
It's the left wing fake media.
A game warden shot 2 people in Tennessee while turkey hunting.
What?
It
Mhm.
happens. Think about it. Like turkey hunting, your main purpose out there is to not be seen. And you're also imitating the sounds of birds that other people are chasing. And if you're on public land, people hear the sound of a turkey and they're hunting turkeys, they'll probably try and sneak up on some turkeys. So,
Yeah,
and then you could end up hunting the same birds that other people are hunting. And that's how that thing most likely happens.
that's why reaping's illegal in some states.
What is that with the fan?
Yeah, the fan
Yeah.
reaping.
I was gonna say that's one thing I will never do on public land. I do not want to take my life into my hands like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends where you're at, but
We can also rifle hunt in Virginia, so you'd probably just take a 5.56 across the field.
Jeez.
Whoa! You can shoot turkeys with a rifle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
in Virginia. I almost took the muzzleloader out after one this year. I'm gonna do it next year.
I mean, I guess it's no different than shooting them with like a bow or something like that. You gotta aim for the vitals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I guess with a shotgun, you aim for the vitals as well with the face.
You know how many times I could have killed a turkey with a rifle in Kansas?
I know, it really takes the fun out of it. Like, I don't see the fun in turkey hunting with a rifle. At that point, it's just target practice.
I mean, but you could say the same about deer hunting with a rifle, right?
I'm
I
sure
guess
Matt
that's
knows
true.
about that in Nebraska.
What, rifle hunting deer?
Yeah.
Little bit. That's the
I've
best
heard-
time. That's when the migration's always coming through. So it's always a challenge for me to choose which to do.
Well, I've heard that rifle hunting in Nebraska is driving around in a pickup and hopping out in the ditch.
Yeah, we deal with that a lot. It's insane. We've got a family farm and we have deer poached off it every year. It seems like so.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not enough game wardens to combat it. It's just I don't get the fun in it. I guess that's just how I was raised. But I'd rather be in a duck blind. But if I'm deer hunting, I'm just hunting for meat. So just if I see a nice doe, I'll just sit there and wait till she's 100 yards or whatever and shoot, and then go duck hunting the next day.
That's how I am too. I don't think I could ever get in the deer hunting game. I enjoy chasing waterfowl and watching the show, and you get amped up for one deer, you smoke it, and you're done for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you spend all off season with trail cams and scouting and everything looking for this one buck, and then either you get him or you don't. And the people that are like big deer hunters, they're super passionate about it, and when they do, it's just an awesome reward. But I like going out and having the chance to get something every time and multiples. But that's waterfowlers and deer hunters are just kind of wired differently. It's just but not saying either way is wrong.
It's just do what you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think most people from the outside looking at duck hunters and deer hunters would probably both think we're crazy. Getting up at 4 a.m., spending hours in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like yesterday, somebody asked me if I could teach them how to go duck hunting or just hunting in general. I was like, I really only know a lot about duck hunting, and starting out with nothing, it gets expensive. I told him, like, upfront cost, if you don't even have a gun, you're looking like $800 to have all the gear you need to maybe go shoot ducks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Definitely.
It is. Yeah. I mean, if you can find a buddy who has like enough stuff to loan you to try it and go with them or something like that, that's the way to do it. And most states have what do they call it when you can have a hunter come with you?
Mentor.
Apprentice?
Yeah, apprentice or mentor. Yeah, apprentice is what it's called in Indiana. That's a way to try it for sure. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Do any states have like a formal mentorship program where like you can get someone from like the game department to take you out? I've always wondered about that because like I don't know, like a game warden on his field day, maybe he wants to go out and show someone how to duck hunt or something like that. I don't know. I felt like that could be something that might go on in some states.
Not that I know of.
I think in Kansas, I know with dove season, there's youth hunts that the Department of Wildlife hosts. and they've got mentors that go out with the youth.
Yeah, in Nebraska, and I think it's more of an like a conservation organization thing. They do like Pheasants Forever and Ducks Unlimited will do youth mentor days where they take them out, and it'll be a dove hunt or a teal hunt, or they plant birds like pheasants or stuff for Pheasants Forever. And each kid gets so many shells and so many birds they have a chance to shoot at, stuff like that. But as far as like a formal game agency, Nebraska doesn't have anything that I know of like that.
Yeah, last year I did a thing with the Missouri Department of Conservation, and it was a thing that was put together for millennials who are looking to get into hunting, because there's not a lot of millennials who are into hunting like past generations were. And I mean, if there's not a lot of millennials getting into it in younger generations, then the sport's going to kind of fizzle out. And so they put this together, and it was just kind of a pheasant hunt, kind of get to know hunting, how to clean birds, how to shoot, those kind of things. It was planted birds. We did a continental shoot, getting a chance to shoot live birds that were flying by. It wasn't the most, it was one of those European style hunts where you're out there to just kind of have fun and shoot some birds that were pen raised. But I really enjoyed that experience, getting to see those people that were, like my age, and they've never shot a shotgun before, and they're interested in it. They want to know more, and being able to be there and be like, here's how you do this. Here's what I recommend. Maybe put your head down on your stock some more, or here's how I like to clean the birds like this. So being able to have that experience was really neat. There are things, check with your Department of Wildlife or DNR, whatever you call it in your state, and see if there's anything out there if you're trying to get into it. But it's a very cool and unique experience taking somebody out who's wanting to get into it and has never had any exposure to it. Because I think it's really cool for me, because growing up, I had no exposure to hunting. I had never hunted anything until I was 16 years old.
Yeah. All right, we got a question from Jake. He says, before I ask it, we got a bunch of people in here. Smash that like button. All right. The question is,
and follow the Flyways Collective,
and follow
link in the description.
All right. Jake says, what is your opinion on guys down south, such as myself, having a disdain for guys up north that killed ducks over winter wheat and stop the migration?
Whoa. Whoa, back up. Let's do the reverse on that one, okay? So migration, what triggers it? Well, it's time of year and temperature, water freezing, and food. Okay, so recent years, we've had some fairly warm winters. We get the early migrants. They pass through because of time of year, like teal, blue-winged teal generally migrate because of time of year and the temperature. And then you get to the point where you get the mallards coming in and the geese coming in. And the mallards and geese, they don't move until things start to freeze up. They don't have access to water and they don't have access to food. It's not anything other than that. It's not heated ponds or using ice rippers or anything like that. It comes down to basic biology. If the bird is able to have open water to get water and roost up, and they have access to food to eat, there's no reason for them to migrate other than it's getting to be too hard for them to maintain their energy levels or things like that. So it's not anything that we do as hunters that affect that, or anything that farmers do as agriculture. It comes down to time of year and temperature and weather.
Yeah.
Disagree with me.
You nailed it. No, you nailed it. I mean, hunting from out here in Nebraska, I can speak from experience. Like 5 years ago, we had a lot more birds. The last 2-3 years, we've had less geese and less mallards. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've had a lot of birds, but we've had a noticeable amount less. And you can talk to guys up north and like even Canada, they were seeing them in December, like just time, when you wouldn't think birds would still be up there.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more of a weather thing. It's all the climate and all that goes into it. That's more than, all the conspiracy theories about the heated ponds and whatever Ducks Unlimited and the DNR are doing.
True.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Look into it, bro.
It is a conspiracy theory. And you hear a lot on like online forums and Facebook groups and things where people complain about ice rippers being used to open up ponds and make roosts. I don't know about you guys, but I use my ice ripper to open up a pond to hunt birds that are roosted up elsewhere because the birds make their own roosts. They keep that water open and then go feed, and you use that ice ripper to make to unfreeze a pond between the roost and the feed, to where when those birds are coming back from the feed, they see that open water and that entices them in. There's no better way to get birds to decoy than to have open water.
Yeah.
It's not to keep birds there. That's just silly. There's no point. If you're able to hunt them, that's the purpose. They'll keep their own roosts open. You're just using that ice ripper to open up a place to hunt them if you have nowhere else to hunt.
I will say to Jake that all of us suffer when we have years that don't have cold, and it might seem like the guys up north are getting more birds, but I mean, I'm all the way up in northern Indiana. Like, if it's not a cold season and we don't have birds pushing through, they get stale. You're not going to shoot birds anyway. So I think everybody in those years have the same issues. It's not just people down south.
And it could also come down to season dates as well, because in Kansas, if you're willing to travel throughout the state, you're able to hunt ducks from, like the second week in October all the way to the end of January, and then geese all the way up to the middle of February. So we've got a fairly long season as opposed to other states where you only have 60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish someone needs to put together a map. You could probably do it. It would have to be on like a state to state basis, but I can say last year, in terms of living in Virginia, my whole life, last year was the warmest winter we've ever had. I mean, we just did not have. The thing is, you need cold fronts coming. What really drives a migration is repeated cold fronts. You get 2-3 cold fronts in a couple weeks coming down, and that tends to push birds. And when you just don't have that, I think we had like 2 cold fronts all season out here. You just don't get migration. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, I mean, some of it is perception as well, because when you get those cold fronts coming through, you get fresh birds, opposed to just having the same stale birds that learn the safe places, that learn the places not to go. And then when you have fresh birds pushing in all the time, these are the places that they hit up along the migration, and they don't really know where to avoid as well. That would be my opinion on that.
Okay, so we got another kind of question branching off that. It says, do y'all want to hunt Arkansas timber or anywhere south at all? Or are you pleased with hunting up north?
Well, I think it's not just north and south. Like, you can go and look at state by state basis. And there's states that are further up north that are really, really good states to hunt in. Like North Dakota is one of the best. Washington State is one of the best of northern states. And then there's really good states down south, like Texas is one of the most lethal states as far as number of ducks they kill in a year. I mean, it's a bigger state, but again, per hunter as well. And same with California. I don't know if it's necessarily a north versus south area argument as much. I mean, I would love to hunt anywhere that has good duck hunting, and Arkansas has really good duck hunting as far as timber too. I'd love to hunt the timber. But I don't think there's places I want to hunt up north and down south. It's just different times of the year. It's better than others at north or south.
See, I'd agree with you there. We have pretty good duck hunting here. So I guess if I'm looking to go to other places for duck hunting, I want to shoot something that I can't shoot in Nebraska. I want to go after some whistling ducks or a cinnamon teal or sea ducks, something that's different. But I also want to hunt in like really cool, beautiful areas. Like I've seen pictures of Utah duck hunting with like mountains and stuff. That looks awesome. Or the timber hunts in Arkansas, or like even swamp hunting in Florida, like down by the Everglades or something. That looks, it's just exploring different territory and new areas and hunting birds, doing the same thing. But like, I just want to experience all kinds of different aspects of waterfowl hunting and different species.
Here's a question we got, and I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say on it as well. But Chuck asks, how is a shot caller decided, and how do you change the shot caller if he's blowing it? Well, for my groups, for one, it's usually the person whose hunt it is. Like if they have the permission, it's their field, all that. And then, beyond that, like our tight knit group, we really don't have a shot caller. We're all good enough at it that we kind of just talk amongst ourselves as the birds are working in. And whoever is ready to call that shot calls it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't necessarily ever designate a shot caller when I'm hunting. It's usually just, somebody calls the shot, and then that person who calls the first shot generally calls it the rest of the day. But you get to hunt with the same guys over and over and over again. You generally tend to get on the same page when you want to go pull up and shoot. So, every now and then you hunt with some new guys and you want to make sure you know who's calling the shot. And don't be afraid to tell people, hey, you called that shot too early. Let's wait on the next group. Nobody's going to get butthurt about that. If they're butthurt about it, why are you hunting with them? Because everybody wants to shoot them up close and in your face. So I've actually had times where I hunt with guys from Texas and Louisiana. They come up and hunt with us, and we're practically having to strap them into their chair so then they don't pull up and shoot when those ducks are at 40 yards. We know they're going to commit to 15. It's that extra 5-10 seconds when those ducks are working in to where just wait. It's going to happen, and you will smoke that duck. Just wait. So don't be afraid to tell people what's going on and how you would like the hunt to go, because you're out there to hunt. You want to have an enjoyable time. Voice your opinion. Nobody's going to be butthurt about it. It's not a big deal.
Did you have to strap Thomas in when he saw those pintail coming?
A couple times.
I was gonna say I like to do my shot calling with a boom. That's the first alert anybody gets when there's a bird in the spread.
I hate that. I mean, I'm guilty of it.
Alert that one day.
I think that everybody's probably guilty of it at one time or another, but I hate it when like people when somebody's the shot caller and they're literally standing up aiming at the bird, and they say take them at like the same instance that their trigger pulls, and then like you stand up and the birds are like swinging off to the right or left, and you're like you're like, I can get this one shot off maybe.
I've never done that.
Don't lie. You've never done it?
I've done it a lot. I'm halfway up when I yell a shot, but like I said, when you're with the same group of guys all the time, generally when somebody starts moving, everybody's moving because we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And you get to know kind of the distance that everybody likes shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, typically when what I would consider a good hunting buddy is when we can get to that point where we have kind of that mutual understanding of when we're going to stand up and shoot. Like when you get to the point where you can kind of do it without having to talk too much about it or say anything, that's when y'all have a good understanding. Y'all have hunted together to the point where y'all get each other.
Yeah, that's how Blake and I are. You guys met Blake on the collaboration hunts when we went to Nebraska, and him and I, we're always on the same page. And if he shoots ducks, awesome. Good job, dude. Thanks for shooting that duck. And, I'm not butthurt if I don't get a shot. I know there's going to be more, and there's always another day. And I have to constantly tell myself that. And, you get so down some days when you don't have a good time shooting them, or, you don't have a good day out in the field. There's always another day. There's always another hunt. You'll make it up. So, it's always nice to have a good buddy. And the thing about Blake is he's left-handed. So when him and I are in a blind together with just me and him, I've got from the middle to the left covered because I'm a right-handed shooter, and he's got the middle to the right covered. We're deadly.
Definitely agree about having a lefty.
It makes a difference.
It does. We have another question. Someone asked, another question, do you have ducks that have a stigma that are bad? Because me and my dad make coot sausage. So I think they're basically asking or any ducks in your area that have like a real bad stigma.
Everybody likes to hate on the spoonies.
I don't get it at all, man. Those were the 2 I ate in Kansas were fantastic.
Well, yeah, you've never seen a spoonie before Kansas. That's right. Yeah, some ducks are definitely better eating than others, but if you prepare them in a way that suits them, they won't taste so bad. I don't necessarily care for mergansers. They're cool ducks to see, but I think hooded mergansers are a little bit overrated. Maybe that's because I've shot so many of them. There was one year where like every time you go out and hunt, you shoot your limited mergansers and be done. But I don't know. I think mergansers are a little overrated.
Excuse me.
But I don't know if there's anything that's got as much of a stigma as coots.
You got to save the trout with the mergansers.
Have you ever tried eating a common merganser, Josh?
I can't say I have.
Oh, I'm going to have to bring you one for the next collab. I'll pluck it whole for you and we'll roast it in the oven. It'll be fantastic.
Chief eats them pretty well, as long as you cook it.
Save the trout.
I kind of consider it like the same way as like trash fish. Like there's the thing about trash fish, a lot of what people consider trash fish are the fish that you have to kind of do extra work. You have to fillet out the extra little pin bones. You have to cut off that bloodline. I think, like you said, there's not really, I wouldn't say there's any trash ducks as long as you have, or there's no bad ducks. As long as you know the way to cook them and you're creative, you can make any duck taste at least somewhat okay.
I've heard that the trash duck is the wood duck.
No. No, wood ducks are good eating.
Oh yeah, that's definitely my favorite. I'm just giving Thomas crap because that's his his primary bird. Yeah, primary bird over there in Virginia.
No, I love pintails. I love eating pintails. Get on. Ooh.
So here's a question.
How do you like to eat pintails?
Why don't they ever do jerk? But why don't they ever
Jordan's never shot a pintail.
He's been doing the pintail challenge for like 4 years now.
Oh yeah, I just put it in every video title from now on. Pintail challenge.
Pintail challenge. Yeah, no, last year in the collaboration hunt, he pulled up on a pintail and he had his limit of redheads, and I said, "That's a redhead."
I shot ones first, and in your defense, I whiffed the first shot, but I have no idea if I would have hit it after that or not.
Because you knew it was a pintail.
I didn't. I mean, I believed you enough that I didn't shoot because, after so many years,
have that
everything
little voice in the back of your head.
Yeah, everything looks like a pintail at this point. So, is that a pintail? Just another common merg. But again, on the trash ducks, circling back around, why don't they do wood ducks in the harvest report ever?
What do you mean?
Like they don't do like the counts, do they, on wood ducks?
Yeah, because you can't really count them. Like the way
there's no flyover and all that.
Yeah, like they're
they nest in trees.
Yeah, they're cavity nesters. So, yeah, I think that's kind of one of the biggest mysteries, probably in terms of the waterfowling world, is the population of wood ducks. Like we have good guesses on pretty much everything else except for wood ducks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's never in any of the reports, and like we see wood ducks all over the place, but I mean the limit's just been 3.
I think the last thing I read, because some states do monitor wood ducks. I think the last thing I read is that they estimated it was like 1.5 million in the Atlantic flyway.
I get a lot of like messages from people on Instagram and Snapchat that live out east, and it seems like a lot of those guys are shooting wood ducks. Is that pretty common out there? Like the most common duck you're going to go out and shoot is a wood duck?
Yep, especially during the first half of the season. But I think if you looked at all the Atlantic flyway states, I bet you all of them have the wood duck in their top 5 harvested birds, and I bet you close to half have the wood duck as their most harvested bird. I know Georgia, the wood duck is the most harvested. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, they all get a lot of wood ducks. So there's definitely a lot of wood ducks. And the thing people don't realize, a lot of people think, you know, that wood ducks don't hang around in the ice, that would, like, we shoot wood ducks in super icy conditions in Virginia, but we also shoot, like, my buddy shot a banded wood duck in November that was from Connecticut. So wood ducks are like super all over the place in terms of their migrations. They migrate all over the place. They're not really just purely resident birds, but there are resident populations.
Yeah, for us here, wood ducks are generally early migrants. I don't usually see a wood duck past the middle of November.
Yeah. Yeah, for us, it feels like the first freeze we get, even if it's like the tiniest bit of skim ice, and they're just gone, and we won't see them again. And I'll hunt like the same wood duck holes, and it'll just be like one day you have 100 wood ducks in there, and it skims up that night, and they're just gone.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen us really lose all our wood ducks in Virginia is when it gets like super duper cold. But at least in the western part of Virginia, it is actually kind of like what y'all experience. Like western part of Virginia after November, Southwest Virginia, Western Virginia, wood ducks are gone. But Western Virginia also looks a lot like Kansas. But Eastern Virginia, they just seem to bounce between the swamps and the rivers. So if it gets super cold and the swamps freeze, they just go to the rivers. As soon as the swamps freeze, they're back in the swamps.
So let's take a second and refer people to the Flyways Collective channel that is in the description of this video. We've got like 60 some people on here right now. Go ahead and click the link in the description, head over there, hit the subscribe button on that channel, and come right back. We're going to be trying to do hopefully this kind of thing on that channel as well as other content, but check it out, Flyways Collective. It's going to be a blast. We got some big things planned this season. We've got an Instagram and a Facebook page as well. So give us a follow on there and stay up to date with things that we're going to be doing. And I heard some things going to be coming to Instagram and Facebook eventually down the line. So just stay tuned for that and give us a follow on there, as well as Duck Gun Chronicles, High Prairie Sportsman, and Virginia Outdoors Unlimited. That is Jordan, Matt, and Thomas that are here with me today. They've got YouTube channels as well. If you guys haven't followed them or seen any of their videos, be sure to go check those out as well.
Appreciate it.
Subscribe to Outdoor
Now
Life
back to your regular scheduled programming.
Doesn't look like we have any more questions.
This is a regular scheduled program.
Sometimes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I usually post. I might switch that up though. I might do like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, Fridays are a little slow sometimes. And what does anybody have any content in the works right now?
I've got a video ready to go for tomorrow.
What is it?
It's a video.
You can't say what it is. No sneak peek.
Sneak peek, I'll be talking about a product on a field tested Friday.
So what are you going to do when you change it to Thursday?
Shoot, I don't know.
Field tested Thursday.
It doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't.
No. I like the alliteration with like the Waterfowl Wednesday or Field Tested Friday.
You can change it to Try It Out Tuesday. Again, that doesn't sound as good, but it has the ring.
It might have a ring.
Someone asked you, Josh, what's your ratio of farmland to public land?
It really depends on the year, honestly. If it's a good year on public ground, I'm going to most likely stick to public ground. But generally, from the beginning of the season, I'm hunting teal in September on public land. Then from October down to the end of November, I'm generally on public land. When things start getting kind of cold, maybe marshes start freezing up in December, then I'll move over to private land. So it just depends on the year and the conditions that we have. But if I've got a good private land shoot lined up, I'm going to go do that. But I missed out on a lot of public land duck shoots this season just because of the conditions. We didn't have very good habitat for ducks in our public marshes this past year. So that kind of played into why I hunted a lot more private land this past season.
Okay, Thomas, here's one for you. Have any of you managed to bag a blackduck?
Yes. And if any of y'all want to come out to Virginia, y'all can bag one too.
How many? What's the
Is
limit
it-
Are
there?
you doing guided hunts now, Thomas?
I am, yeah. Full choke outdoors. Look us up. Mandated full chokes.
Hmm.
If you try to bring an improved cylinder, you're out.
Can I just write full on it with a Sharpie?
Any king
Someone-
hunts?
Like King Iders.
King hunt.
Nope.
That is on the bucket list. That I would love to do that. I've looked it up, and it's like $5,000 for like 3 days for a guy.
Not if you DIY it.
I don't think
On an
that's something you could really
illusion.
DIY.
Then it's
That
like
Bring
a,
a layout mode or
just bring your kayak, Old Town 119.
Have y'all ever
Hmm.
seen that video of king eiders landing on those huge crab boats?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have.
That's
I
crazy.
have.
That's awesome. So that's what we need to do next Flyways Collective. Go catch some king crab and shoot some king eiders off a crab boat.
That'd be kind of fun going and catching
would be.
crabs.
What's the Discovery Channel show of that? Deadliest Catch or something?
Deadliest Catch. Yeah.
Next time on the Flyways Collective, Deadliest Catch.
Yeah, I'd like to go on a crane hunt. Whoever said that in the comment section there, I noticed that. That is on my list, and I want to get that checked off as soon as possible. Cranes need to die with the Winchester soon.
See, I'd love to do it, but it's definitely like I just don't like when I look at them compared to like a mallard. I'm like, it just seems like two different, like such different birds. Obviously, you
They're
hunt them the
like-
same, and
Dude, they're like pterodactyls. They're so big, and they got those big long feet, and
yeah,
like, dude,
yeah.
I want to do that so bad.
Yeah. No, when I hunt up in Michigan, like we'll see them all over the place. I mean, we've had it where they're literally cupping into our set, and we can't shoot them there, obviously. And it's cool, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe when I shoot one, it'll do it for me. But like, I don't know, something about a greenhead, you know.
They call them ribeye of the sky. So besides shooting them, I just want to taste one.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an awesome catch and cook.
Yeah, so Matt's in Nebraska, and it is illegal to shoot a sandhill crane in Nebraska because that's where the breeding grounds of the sandhill cranes are. So that's severely unfortunate. But Kansas, half of the state you can shoot sandhill cranes in, and half of the state you can't. So I find that interesting.
Crane collab. It's
Yeah.
gonna
So
happen.
the area we were in last year for the collab, could we have shot cranes?
I don't believe so.
Gotcha.
It's really way out west, kind
I didn't know
of
this.
the western 5/8 of the state, something like that. It's divided by like one highway that goes north and south throughout the state.
Every state except Nebraska, like that borders us, I think has a crane season somewhere in the state. Like South Dakota, I know does, and Colorado does. I think Wyoming and Iowa do too. But we're never gonna have one. It's just not gonna happen.
Too many
Yeah,
birders.
because no, Nebraska is where the breeding grounds of the sandhill cranes are.
I mean, they can hunt mallards in Canada.
Like literally, like in the spring though, they literally like bottleneck in like a 90-mile area. Almost the entire sandhill crane population are in this area. But during the fall, they don't do that. So
So it doesn't make sense, or what?
You want to get it through with all the birders. I mean, people are upset about a mountain lion season right now. So
Yeah, people drive and fly from all over to see the sandhill cranes in the spring in Nebraska, which, that's a good source of revenue for the state too. But I've seen it in the spring in Nebraska. It is absolutely ridiculous the amount of cranes that you see out there, and they'll sit up there and glide in circles for hours coming down into a field. It's something to see.
Someone asked another question. I'm interested to hear about this one from y'all. Buffleheads or ringnecks? Settle the debate.
Man,
Oh, boy.
I'll just say right now, ringnecks.
I'll shoot a ring neck. They're stupid.
Yeah.
Coming
Are we-
from the what are you saying, Matt?
Well, are we talking looks or are we talking like taste? I'll
I
shoot
think
both of them.
The
but-
whole package.
Yeah. I mean, some people really
it's
like
a-
the way Buffleheads look, but I don't know.
If it's a slow day and a ring neck flies by, I'm shooting that thing.
Yeah.
Even a normal day, if I'm just out there and that's the first duck that flies by, that's a dead duck.
Yeah, coming from the Bufflehead capital of the world, Virginia, I'll say I definitely would pick ringnecks. I've even gone as far to say ringnecks in the past are my favorite bird to shoot, just because, at least in Virginia, whenever they come in, we typically get them in flocks, and they commit to the decoys like nothing else. And typically they come
Yes.
in at about Mach 1, and they're just so much fun to shoot. They're not the most fun duck to hunt, but in terms of just wing shooting, they are so much fun.
Ring necks are the worst duck to clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Skin is terrible.
The
That's
skin
true.
is so tight to the breast.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't shoot a lot of them. I don't shoot a lot of either one of those.
I wish we got more ringnecks, honestly.
No, you wish you had more mallards.
See, the thing is, I can only shoot 2 mallards. I can shoot 6 ringnecks.
Oh,
If you
that's
had
true. You want
more-
more ring necks.
I want anything that's not a mallard, basically.
That's ridiculous. 2 mallards and you're done. Oof.
Yeah, it's
Hope
too
that
bad you
doesn't
guys don't
happen.
have more black ducks to kind of make up for it. But the other thing about
Yeah.
black ducks is if you shoot like one mallard hen, it probably gets really hard after that to identify, when they're flying in, especially at low light between your mallard hen. If you got one down, it's like, what are you going to do about black ducks?
Yeah, black ducks are... The nice thing about black ducks is that they have that big purple speculum. So if you see them flying from the side, they're really easy to identify. Where we get trouble is when they fly, like you said, straight down the pipe or something. There's no chance of telling them between a mallard and a black duck. So you got to really wait till they either, put out their wings or they turn sideways to get a good positive ID.
They have a lot of black ducks in New Mexico. Did not know that.
Really?
That's what Blaster said.
I think Plaster's pulling our leg there. They don't black ducks. If you look at like a map,
They're in the Atlantic
ranging-
Flyway.
That's what I was going to
Yeah,
say
it
too.
would be. It must be mottled ducks, because if there was black ducks in New Mexico, that'd be a new scientific finding. Favorite way to cook duck? Recipe off the top of your head.
Ooh.
2 tablespoons of cayenne pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and a can of whoop ass. No, I like making sausage. I like summer sausage and jerky sticks and Italian sausage. To me, that's the easiest to just grab it and take it out of the freezer and eat it kind of thing.
Yeah, I did.
So
I did goose and breakfast sausage this last year, and I'd take it out in the hunts, and that was awesome.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong mixing your waterfowl meat with some pork and grinding it up and making sausage.
Yeah.
Another way I like to do it is I like to take some really fatty ground beef, like your 73% lean beef, and I mix it half and half with ground duck and goose. And then you just have stockpiled amounts of ground beef in your freezer. You can make hamburgers, hamburger helper, anything you'd use ground beef for, you can use that for. Like Tuesday, we made tacos out of it.
Yeah, I love it in like chili.
Yeah, I have not tried that, but
some cinnamon rolls.
You gotta have cinnamon rolls and chili.
No, it's cornbread and chili.
No, it's
yeah,
cinnamon rolls.
that's
I wish we
weird.
could take a poll on that one. Maybe that'll go on the Facebook page tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have to ask people.
Cinnamon rolls and chili or cornbread and chili. Pick your poison.
I'll stick with the saltines.
Okay, Mr. Indiana.
I mean, is that not normal?
I'd say that's pretty normal.
Chili.
Okay.
Does Indiana even have chili? I feel like chili's like a Midwest thing.
Yeah. Have you ever had Cincinnati chili?
Is
No.
that like Skyline chili or whatever?
I don't know. All I know is it's called Cincinnati chili, and they do it with elbow noodles, ground beef, and no beans.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're thinking the same stuff.
Which that's how I
think
grew
I've
up
had
eating.
that
Like
before.
hamburger helper.
That's how I grew up eating chili, and so like I was like always weirded out when I'd go eat chili other places, and I'm like, why is there beans in your chili? Wasn't
Because that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah, it wasn't later in life that I realized that my chili was the backwards chili.
I wish I could have a Runza right now.
Ooh, yep.
I haven't got
That's
that
another
yet.
perk of Nebraska.
That's one perk of Nebraska. I spent a lot of time in Nebraska over the past few years, and Runza has a special place in my heart.
That
I want to make a duck Runza.
I was just gonna say that. That would be awesome.
A beer rock is actually what it's technically called.
I don't even know what a
It's not-
runza is.
It's a beer rock. It's basically like a roll stuffed with cabbage and a ground beef.
Huh.
It's like
That's-
heaven
I
wrapped
should've-
in a bun.
It's really good.
Is it like a giant egg roll?
No.
No.
It's like a
It's like putting
soft.
America in your mouth.
True.
I should have made Jordan get one when he dropped me off at the airport.
I was too sleepy. So were you.
You wouldn't have got it because you didn't go through Nebraska.
Mm.
There's only one Runza in Kansas, and I believe it's in Lawrence.
Yeah.
Any more questions out there?
We could
Question.
I just got an idea. We could do a collective chili cook-off. We all grind up the duck or something at the end of the day and
Is it-
make a small batch of chili during our collective.
Is it bring your own teepee?
Well, I think you can find it finally again, so shouldn't be a problem.
We won't even need a
sure?
runza at that point.
With the way the bathrooms looked at the last collab, I don't think anybody would really care out there.
No, that was pretty much a hole in the ground.
Oh man. Some rough living.
That was fun, though.
It was fun.
That was fun.
It was a ton of fun.
I wish the days were longer, though.
And
Yeah.
the hunts were shorter.
The point where you drove off that road and then you slowly lost cell service, that was the demoralizing part.
The what?
The part, like, you would drive off the road down to the place we stayed and you would just slowly lose cell service. It would go from 2
Oh.
bars to 1 bars to nothing. It's like, oh, well, no Instagram stories, no nothing.
Yeah, that was a harsh part. It's like I was excited to do the Instagram stories and Snapchat and all that, and no internet whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like you could barely make a phone call.
Devin, I'm from Indiana. I hunt a lot of Michigan though. At least I've started to as well. Because it's a great state for duck hunting.
here, private land permission. When in the year do you start?
I try to go when like there's the biggest wave of Corona pandemic. No, that's the wrong answer. That's the least likely. That's a good way to probably ruin permission forever. Honestly, I'm debating when I should start asking permission at this point.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing.
See, the thing is, I think I'm gonna get a mask though that has me smiling, and then people will think I'm more personable. Than
It's
I
like
really
a Joker mask. Yeah,
am.
I don't know.
This guy's nice. He's smiling at me.
See, I think like in a normal year, it definitely matters where you're at and based on what the landowners are doing at that time. So like in Nebraska and Kansas, this time of year, they're just finishing up planting. They're moving into the summer. So there's a little less work to be done in the summer, but then come fall, they're going to be busy with harvest and all that. So you want to try to get them when it's not an inconvenient time for the landowner. So I would say probably midsummer, at least in Nebraska, would be the best time to ask. And you should beat out all those last minute, people that try to get permission at the last minute too.
Here's a question for you. I've never done this. I've seen people do it on like hunting videos, especially like deer hunting videos, where they literally like go and hop up in the tractor with the farmer. What's everybody's thoughts on that? I've never done it either. It just seems like that's a no, but I've literally seen people film videos. They go ask the permission for the farmer, and he's in the field working, and they just run over there, jump up into the tractor, and talk to him, and they get permission. I'm like, that just seems like it wouldn't work, but
it's got to be staged or something. Like,
okay, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know many farmers around Nebraska that would do that. I mean, there might be a few, but you're more likely to get, a shotgun blast at you than permission.
Mm-hmm. I've talked to them when they're like out in the yard, like maybe loading up a truck of grain, doing nothing.
Yeah.
But never when they're just like taking a pass on a tractor in a field.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be bothered if I was out there,
Or you would. Because it can get pretty boring out there.
Yeah, when you're taking all those circles.
Especially with auto steer and all that. You're just practically just sitting in there.
Well, you just put your tablet up and you pull up Netflix or YouTube and watch hunts.
Those things are pretty cool. The GPS driven stuff. Yeah. We've got some of those at my family's farm, and it's crazy. You just sit there and it goes.
Yeah, my buddy reads more books than anybody else I know, and he's a farmer. All he does is just sit in his combine or his planter and just read books while it does it by itself.
You think that'd be bumpy, like too bumpy to read?
No, it's not, because you're going so slow.
They got them big tires too.
Yeah,
those things take up a lot of movement.
Hey, Jay asks, thoughts on a hunting dog? Are they needed? When to use? He's got a trained dog. He hunts 90% of the time in a boat that's fully enclosed, so he can't hunt out of it.
Jordan's in the minority.
I'm in the minority? Oh, because nobody else has hunting dogs here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love hunting with a hunting dog. I don't know. There's just like a special bond you get with your dog, and it's almost like you want to see them succeed, and you want to shoot birds for them. You feel bad like if you miss, and it's just so cool to see them go over there and work for it. Obviously, you don't need it because everybody in this group right here that are avid waterfowl hunters, they don't have a dog and they hunt waterfowl. So it's not a need, but I will say that you're probably more effective at finding, cripples and stuff like that. It's been said that hunting dogs are the number one conservation tool for hunters. It's definitely, if you have the means to have a hunting dog, I would highly suggest it because it just brings a whole new element to hunting and having your hunting companion. The first year when you have a dog, it's always going to be rough, but you get past the training and all that. And like at this point, it's like me and my dog are on the same wavelength.
I'll say one of the most frustrating feelings for me is losing a bird, especially when I'm like, if I had had a dog, I would have 100% found this bird.
Yeah.
There's ones where it's like they're there, but you just can't physically find them because you can't smell them.
Yeah. There's been times where it's like we're 100% not finding this. Like, why'd someone take that crazy shot and the bird cells and it falls into this brush, and you just send the dog in there and he comes back 10 minutes later with a bird in your mouth, and you're just amazed. That happens all the time. And that's one of the coolest things. Makes you super proud of your hunting dog at that point. Yep.
Well, should we start to wind things down? I don't even know how long we've been on here.
Been going for
99 minutes.
I was gonna say 99. Yeah.
Almost 2
Been
hours.
on for a while.
Any final questions from the audience?
Last call. Lights are on.
Closing
Get your
time.
girl and get out.
I think that's gonna do her.
I think so. Thanks for joining us this evening on this random live stream. Make sure to follow us on the Flyways Collective. There's a link in the description. Head over to the YouTube channel, give it a subscribe, and then we'll be doing more of these kind of live streams over there, hopefully. And you guys will get to see more content from all of us over there. Make sure to follow Duck Gun Chronicles, High Prairie Sportsman, and Virginia Outdoors Unlimited, along with our old gray bearded friend, Freelance Duck Hunting, and Titus from
Mid-Valley
Mercenaries. There's so many to remember. It's kind of hard.
Yeah. Every time I go through the list, I forget somebody different.
Oh, yeah. It's difficult. But thanks for joining us, guys. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. And be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels.